So, today on the growth seat, I wanted to talk about a concept that I use a lot with leadership coaching. And this is the idea that we are all the authors of our own lives. And we're writing a book. The focus here, most people don't recognize that you have the pen of the book of your life. And every day is a page. So if you really remember that, if you really think about the fact that today I'm writing a page in my book of my life, how is that page going to read? What am I going to write in that page? As a person, as a leader, it's so sad when we waste our days. It's so sad when, you look back at the end of the day and say, wow, what did I do today? That's not a great thing. And I'm not saying that every day you should have the most productive day of your entire life. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that as people, as leaders, we are accountable for our lives. We are accountable for the words that we write on the pages in our book. And I want my book to be inspirational. I want my life to be something where when someone reads the book of my life, that they would be inspired by how I live my life. What's important with this, I've had good and bad days, good and bad pages. I've had days that I'm really proud of where I think, wow, I was living my best life. And I've had days where I wish that they didn't happen, and I need to remember that what's really cool, if you kind of look at this idea of a book, of a story, there's going to be plot twists. All right. There's going to be dark days, dark times, dark chapters. But the question is, are you making sure that in the good days, all right, in our good pages, our good chapters, are we appreciating, right? Are we really grateful for the lives that we have, for our families, for our friends, for our work? Are you actually grateful for those things? And what's great is that the hard times, the dark days, they help us to be more grateful. And the more that we learn, the more that we appreciate our lives, the good and the bad, the more that we can make sure that we're intentional with writing our book. And I think that what's key is that for you, for me, today, we'll just say today, do you have an intention today to live a life that you'll be proud of? Do you think that you will be able to overcome the little things that go wrong in your life and still be happy? Will the people around you, your family, your friends, see you overcoming the little things, the medium things, the big things that happen in your life? Will they see you handle these things, tackle these problems with grace, with love, with fortitude? Will the people around you be inspired by how you handle your good days, your bad days? If I looked at your book, if I read your book, would the book be mostly about you and you living your best life, or you having a life where you served other people? We have a pool in our backyard. And what I love is that my wife and I, my wife's this amazing, wonderful person. And as we had thought about having a pool, one of the things that we said was, is it going to help our kids to be happier? Is it going to help to bring people to our house so that they can have fun at our house? Is it going to be something that I'm just going to sit in the back, our backyard at the pool and bask in the sun? You don't ever see me doing that. Rarely see me doing that, we did that. We spent that money because we wanted it to be something for experiences. And I think that in the book of my life, I have focused so much on making sure to use the money that I've been blessed to have to create experiences for myself, my family, and my friends. And I think it's interesting. It wasn't that long ago that I was at a dinner with a bunch of my son's lacrosse friends, parents, and at the there was, I don't know, there were a good number of people there, and it was a really nice restaurant, and it hit me. I'm like, it'd be really cool to secretly, quietly pay for everyone's dinner. So I um, I happened to be at one end of the table, not the head of the table, at one end of the table, and I just quietly told the waiter when he was at my side and everyone was chit chatting around. I said, you know what? Um, one of these times when you come to me, I'm going to hand you my credit card and I want you to use my card for the bill. And he said, well, what am I supposed to say when everyone else asks for their bill? And I said, I just want you to say that some really nice person paid for everyone. So, and he gave me this big smile. And, um, and it was so funny at the end of, or near the end of the dinner, people started doing that, and I had, gotten up saying that I was going to go to the bathroom to make sure to sign the bill, um, and unfortunately, when I came back, someone had asked specifically, "Hey, why don't we have a bill?" And someone had pointed to me in the other room signing the bill. Oh, he paid for it, and I'm like, darn. Um, but the idea was I wanted to try to serve. I wanted to try to be generous with the people that I care about. In my life, with my book, I hope that more than anything, what people will remember from my life is that I was the most generous and loving person that they knew. That's what I want to be remembered as. And I think that in my book of, my life, the story of my life, it's important that I look for opportunities where I can serve other people, where I can give to other people, where I can love other people. Because I don't want my story to be about me. Obviously the story is me, but I don't want it to be about me. In another podcast, I'll talk about one of my favorite leaders of all time, one of the most powerful leaders that I've ever read about, learned from. And it was a 5'2" little lady named Mother Teresa. And for me, I use her as a model because she dedicated her life towards serving others, helping others, loving others, especially the ones that were forgotten by everyone else. And in my life, in my story, in my book, I want to make sure that when someone reads my book, looks at my life, that they see it wasn't about me. That they see that I dedicated my life. I tried to write a story that included other people, that was focused on other people, that loved other people. And again, what's a big deal is that every day we have to remember we're writing a page. And every day we have to remember, I don't want to waste this day. I don't want to waste this page. I want to make sure that my book is a book I'm proud of. When I'm done with my life, when I'm done with my book, will I be happy with what I've written? Will I be happy with the fact that the hard chapters I learned from, I grew from, and that other people saw me living my hard chapters and I didn't get bitter because of them. I want to make sure, there's this classic idea of from the bad things that happen in your life, bad things, are you going to get better or are you going to get bitter? And I don't want to get bitter. I've had people in my life who have done me wrong, who have really negatively affected my life. And I have learned from my faith that grace is one of the most important things that I can focus on in life because thank God for the grace that I've been given. So thank God that I, in my enormous imperfections, that I have been given grace, that I've been forgiven for being so imperfect. And it's my job to do this exact same thing with other people. It's my job to remember that I have no reason or ability to judge harshly other people for too long when I have been so lucky, so blessed to have been forgiven for all my faults, all my failings. So make sure that as you're living your life, as you're writing your book, as you have ups and downs, that your ups you're grateful for, that your good days, your good pages, you are just so happy with, that you don't take them too much for granted, because it's what we all do, right? It's hard not to. You know, it is key that you live a life, that I live a life that's filled with gratitude. It's also key that when the hard times come, the hard moments, the hard days, the hard months, that we learn from them and we grow from them and we become better because of them. How many times in your life have you had something negative happen and then a year later, a decade later, you say, wow, that thing that was so bad in the moment actually was such a blessing for me in my life. That thing that I hated when it was happening. Oh my gosh, my life is so much better because of that thing, because of that inflection point. Make sure that you remember that in the hard times. All right? Make sure that you remember there can be good that comes from bad. All right? The key is, are you willing to create good from bad? Are you willing to take a negative thing that's happening, find the good in it, create the good in it, and be successful in spite of and because of it? Are you willing to do that? Because it's hard. It's really hard. It's so much easier to be a victim. It's so much easier to say, poor me. Oh my God, this shouldn't have happened to me. Oh my God, I don't want to live my life that way. I want to make sure that I live my life in such a way that as the challenges come up, I'm going to, in the moment, probably say, poor me. But I hope that fairly quickly, I'm looking for, okay, what next? Okay, what next? What can I do? What do I need to do for myself, for my family, for the people that depend on me to be successful and move forward? Because I want my book to inspire other people. Will your book inspire other people? Will your life be such that other people will learn from it, will grow from it, that they'll want to read it a second time because there's so much good stuff in it? I want my life to be that. I want my life to be so packed with good and bad that there's so much to learn from it. And I hope that other people will see that I've learned along the way. That is the key, right? The key is, are you learning along the way? So, wrapping up, you're the author of your book. You hold the pen and you're writing the words in your pages. Make sure that you're intentional about what you're writing, about the life that you're living. Be grateful for the good days. Learn from the bad days, right? Become better every step along the way. Make sure that you're writing a story that when other people read it, when they hear about the story of your life, that they will be inspired, that they will think, wow, that was a great life. I hope that your life is great. I hope that your book is great. And if there's ever a time when I can help you to write an even better story, you let me know.